So, Mama T, I just wanted to come on here and address a few things because I hear you've been calling for me, but I'm a little confused because the last convo we had in text ended with you telling me how we used to be such good friends. Literally, one of the last texts was, "Yeah, you're right," when I gave you some things to think on regarding hypocrisy. So why a couple days later you're live every day screaming like a fool for me, thinking I'm responding to that. And how do you flip like that when we've had zero negative interactions? It's very apparent to me you're given some of the stuff I've heard you say, like you're being used as a mouthpiece for someone, like a puppet. Um, you did nothing but make false claims and lie after lie with zero proof for days. Isn't your motto something about standing on truth? You literally had zero proof on anything you said. You sounded like the old school mammoth. You know, like when you used to go so blindly hard for Ernie, no matter how ridiculous it sounded. I thought you learned from those days on being a mouthpiece for others and learning to think for yourself. Never did I text you birds going after Katie. Your own reading comprehension, or lack thereof, got you wronk again. But this time it affected me greatly because you presented that wronk lie for days. How does one sentence of Bird's mad get turned into that? Huh? Also, I don't talk to Bird off the platform. I don't even go into his lives. I did once or twice. I don't know, a long time ago when we first met him, the community. I don't know. It was a long time ago though. I'm not working with Bird, Ernie, or Nicolina. Do you have any receipts for that? Or no, ma'am, it doesn't need any. I haven't talked to Ernie off the platform for probably over 3 years. I heard you back to your old ways with conspiracy shit again. I've been in my own chat for months, not going in almost everyone from our community's live chats or comments. The response that I'm getting from my last live feels like fake, outrage, hypocritical, blown out of proportion, just used as an excuse to execute some sort of weird act of revenge. Days of screaming and telling people what they need to do on their channel. I don't go to any of your channels. I'm not part of them, so nobody can tell me how to handle situations on mine. Again, it was a situation on mine that I handled on my channel. I made the choice to delete it from my channel because I don't want kid talk on my channel. That's my right on my channel. Y'all can do what you want on yours. It's hypocritical as fuck that the pitchforks were out for days and some dude trying to threaten me for someone else's comment on my live. Like I could have predicted what anyone else would say. The weirdest part, y'all acted like I said the comment. You don't like my choice to delete comments on my channel? What about I was thinking for the parents mentioned? I didn't think the parents mentioned would prefer leaving it that way. I thought I was doing what was best for the parents and their feelings by removing hurtful comments so they wouldn't have to hear them. If anyone asked why that they've gotten removed, they would have got that answer. But people chose to use the opportunity for outrage. Do not say it was about transparency again. That's bullshit. Let me ask you, if the crusaders of the don't talk about kids care so much about kid comments, then why is it okay for one of them to sit on a panel and directly put down a child and say shitty things about another child? Don't bitch about others saying kid comments if you yourself are doing what you call out. I myself didn't make any comments like one of you did, and look at the reaction I got for days. This is some bizarre ass shit. You might need a new crusader against the talking about kids campaign, because this went against everything many of y'all complain about, and it was hypocritical as a motherfucker. Hey, Pink Boberto called it out. Where is the community with the same outrage? Where's the same energy? There's surely some logical thinkers in the community that will think on what I'm saying, and whether you choose to say anything or not, some of you will agree on what I'm saying. I'm not staying quiet because I need approval of a group on here. Again, I've been in my own chat for months. I go into Kel sometimes, and I listen to one of the creators in our community because I enjoy the champion of the interweb. But here's another question. I think the real issue with my panel is I try to allow free speech and nobody can control who's on the panel. I think it's hypocritical to constantly put people down or make claims about them without giving them the opportunity to respond. That's what I always state. I mean, don't bring up somebody if you don't want them to maybe pop up on panel, if you don't want to speak to them. I believe it's only fair to let them respond. Every creator can do what they want, but I don't agree with many ways that other people in the community run their panels, but I respected that it's your right to run your panels the way you see fit because they're your channels. I've seen a lot of high school mentality in chats. I wasn't into it, I would just change the channel. I don't attack any of y'all and tell you what to do on your channels. How about this? Bird gave Nicolina a wrench so she too could have free speech in his channel. Does anyone have anything to say to Bird? If you do, I bet it's going to be done entirely different than the manner that was done to me, right? Will you attack Bird in the same way? Will you attack him for days? All you, all the channels, will you go live about it? Where's the same energy? I bet nobody will, because for me it was an excuse for fake outrage. Back to the mean girl high school mentality stuff I mentioned. What I've noticed is a lot of groupthink and hive mind mentality. A lot of the same behaviors that many of y'all call out in the mean girls. You know, I see it in the groups calling it out. I see people becoming what they claim to stand against and what they claim to hate. Not all, but some. I think some could use some self-reflection and do some thinking on some of the shit I'm mentioning. I'm not wasting my time fighting with people on YouTube, and I've been saying it over and over again for months. Mama T, you've been speaking with me again fine, and we've been getting along, and you destroyed that over the last few days. Clearly, it looks like you're trying to fit in and be an in-girl. That's just my opinion. I've heard you going live for days, beckoning for me on the panel. But I've been basking in the summer sun, thinking how ridiculous all the texts I've been receiving about it. You know how to get a hold of me, and you didn't even text me once. Why? Every other time you wanted me on your channel, you texted me. That's why I think this is another reason that you're trying to be in the cool club or something. I don't know. I thought you changed, but it appears some of your old ways have resurfaced. Again, this is the stuff you used to do for Ernie, going live blindly for him with no receipts. You know me since you came to this community, and we've been getting along fine. And I think you were dragged into being a mouthpiece for others. Well, that's just my opinion, and I'm not stating it as a fact like all the weird shit you said about me. Some of what I heard was extremely offensive, and to me, I don't think you have any right to make such claims. Do you really have the gall to scream on a panel asking why I said anything about Katie's sobriety? Do you have one fucking receipt on that? I'm pissed, and you owe apologies for that alone. You've known me since you entered the community, and I do not talk about people's sobriety. Addiction touches just about everyone's family these days, and that alone will take me a long time to get over. What anyone chooses to put in their bodies is their business, and it has no impact on me. I could go live yelling the same to you. Does that make it true? I haven't posted in any chats since my last post on my community wall. I'm aware I was cloned days ago, and I was sent the link to that account, and I did see whose account it was, because someone sent me a screen recording showing whose account it changed back to after they were using my picture and name. So there is that. If you see something weird said, you should check and verify the account, because I hear you're also screaming about my black heart, which you also have no right to say. I do lots for many that I do not share. In fact, I was actually working on a gift box for another creator when that comment got back to me. You act like you don't know me or something. There's other ridiculous comment from you that will take a long time if I ever choose to forgive. I know who I am and all the good I do, so what you say matters not, but you're completely wrong. So do not ever claim another thing that I'm jealous of anyone on here, because that was another fucked up thing to say. Again, I've never ever wavered in my stance that I think Katie is pretty funny, and I've always liked her humor. I've often talked about how her humor is on my wavelength. I actually did on one of my recent posts too, so there's that. It's not about that for me. All those things that I still think they're true. I still think they're true. We're not comparable in life. We have very different lives. There are many jealous people on the platform, but I assure you I am not one of them. She's younger and at a different stage in her life than me. I'm older and have a family. We're not even comparable. The way I hear you say that you said it, it sounded like you were projecting some of your jealousy. So stop allowing others to make you their puppet. I thought you moved past that. If people can't understand what the problem is for a few of us, I'll try to break it down again for you. If you're part of a group and believe that when people call you a friend, when people say they love you, for some of us, we believe it. I've come to realize of late that there's lots of people that have said that to me. It clearly meant nothing. If you're a friend or say you love someone, you don't go in on a several-day bashing hate group with pitchforks because you didn't like one of their panel guests or what their guest said. It had been addressed, handled promptly, and apologized for. That's not how one treats a friend or someone they claim to love. The problem some of us had was when someone presents themselves one way and you find out they were never what they said they were. If you claim to love one of your friends, you don't go out of your way on such levels of deception to seek out a person, offer to make something for them, then when it's finished, tell them that it will be $1,700. It completely shocked Chaotic and I. No prices were mentioned or discussed during the whole process, as commissions usually work. It was presented as a gift. Once it was learned it was not made from that person, yes, I backed away, because I felt like the person I'd come to enjoy was not the person that they presented to me. When a person feels the need to often say they don't lie, then you learn of such deception and that they were not the person you thought they were. I had every right to just back off. There was no trash talk and nothing. I just stayed in my own channel primarily. That's my right. That person called me on the phone months ago and I stated I would not say anything. I did not. But at the same time, I got to thinking, and how many of us in the community have gone after Ernie Shell or called him out for way less? Can you try to understand it from that perspective if he had done that? I do not even mention that person on my channel, nor do I say a thing all these months as I gave my word to them I wouldn't. At the same time, it's kind of a big deal. It was info that I was burdened with for months. Again, if I felt any kind of revenge in me, I would have gave all that info to the Cyrax trolls when they were in the community. Instead, I stayed quiet. I thought if they got the info, they would be cruel to her, so the info didn't come out. Again, the community has called out Ernie Shell for a lot less. If this was Ernie, would everyone want the info out? If I kept it secret for Ernie, would the community ask me, why did you keep that secret for so long? Because I think, when I was thinking about it, I think they would treat me differently. Another reminder, Chaotic nor I brought the story to YouTube about Bird and the story that someone was protecting Bird because of his kids. Not only was that actually another untruth, it could be one of the contributing factors to what irritated Bird enough to want to speak out. I can't say because, again, I don't talk to Bird regardless what you say. But everyone will be hearing from Bird soon enough. For all the people asking me for painting receipts, why don't you ask Bird? The painting has nothing to do with me. Now that the people got their pitchforks out, compliments part of puppet behaviors like Mama T is doing, and others. What's the point? If you got a receipt, would you believe it? Would you believe Chaotic? This is all weird since we are not the ones that were deceptive, then continue to be deceptive to their audience. I'm feeling like there's a lot of misplaced anger in the community, and I'm disappointed to learn someone was not who I thought they were. And that was it. But guess what I did? I removed myself quietly from the chat and do my own thing on my own channel. And it will take a lot before I ever want to communicate with you again, Mama T, especially weird because we have been getting along pretty well lately. The community as a whole is very dysfunctional, but the break that I've been taking allowed me to finish some gifts I needed to, have a little focus, finish up some things I wanted to do. But all this is just so weird. I just felt the need to say a few words since I've been quiet and doing my own thing. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. It's all weird. Weird.